All right, and welcome to this hour-long play-through discussion. I might have some random ramblings. Welcome. Cyberpunk 2077, still playing, still love the game. Love is blind. That's all I'm going to say. In we go. So I've probably got, at this point in time, 600 hours in Cyberpunk 2077. That's playing from the PlayStation 4 on launch. Finally got a PlayStation 5 around April, I believe, March or April. And then have upgraded and been playing off the PlayStation 5 ever since. And I think one thing that will encompass everything that has become of Cyberpunk 2077 is... Let me get out of the car here real quick. Bring the music down just a tad. Everything that's gone on with Cyberpunk 2077. And who is following me now? They are the developer, publisher, distributor of this game. I do not see them abandoning it. Like you would say, EA would have to abandon Anthem. Anthem was a great idea. BioWare had some gold nuggets in their hands. And while they kind of crumbled, I mean, collectively, those nuggets had some value to them. Unfortunately, the publisher decided not to let them, kind of hone those nuggets into a brick or whatever it is to make it a little more enticing for investors. I mean, CD Projekt Red, their investors are all part of that team. They're, obviously, yes, they're going to want to have their profits, but I don't see them going to a point of saying, you know what, let's just give up, because this is like one of their moneymakers, so I don't think anyone who says, like, it's over, it's a dead game, is really looking at who it is that's behind this game. And I know CDPR are working their butts off to bring this up to what we expected. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to know everything that's wrong with this game. I'm not going to know what affects everyone. I know it runs better on PC. But, there have been PC games in the past, like Batman, the Arkham Knight. When it launched on PC, it was full of bugs, wouldn't run. Warner Brothers were giving refunds to people, but it ran flawlessly on consoles. So yes, PCs can be more powerful, but they're a little more, the game has to run on multiple graphics cards, so it's a little more challenging there. And it does not run bad on a PlayStation 5, and when it gets the next-gen update, I believe wholeheartedly they should have just released this on next-gen consoles. They may have not have had the install base right at the very beginning because of scalpers, middle finger to those guys. But they at least would have had a game that was a little more stable and that could have streamed a little bit better. And I'll walk past stuff like this. I'm not immune to it, but I'll look past it. I will. This stuff kind of needs to be fixed. There's silly things like this and signposts that every once in a while you'll walk across. And we know about all the things that we want from the game, but I keep coming back to it. I've removed this game multiple times from my console, and that's out of my own frustration. And I've gone off to play, Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption or Watch Dogs Legion, to kind of get that open world with more activities. But if they put in a lot of the activities that I think that are sort of a mirage right now in Night City, all the things that are advertised as activities. Yeah, I'll... Well, how about I just... Give me a second here. And just to kind of let you know what my level is, I'm a level 13, so I've started a new game. Don't know how long I've been playing, for a couple hours at least. So I'm not all that powerful yet.
Contact! We got enemy contact!
Alright. Get my street cred here real quick. So, yeah, I've had a good amount of time to enjoy the game and come back to it. And I think one of the things that, I mean, I have probably 7 pages worth of stuff that I would like to see fixed or that I would like to see improved upon. And what a great car, but I damaged it. And this is another thing. Like, this is the one of the things that I agree need to be fixed. Like, what a great car to find, right? I've got no way to repair it. I can't add it to my collection. And now I've kind of damaged it, right? There's nothing I can do about it. I would probably want to make this a car that I kept with me. Like, these Mizutanis are really cool. But it just seems like one of those things that, you know, like, why isn't repairing a vehicle a thing? With all the garages that are around anyway. You know, in this thing too, I mean, we all know, like, come on AI, just go around. Every other game does. And don't forget to try to take enemies out because you get a little bit of street cred as long as they've passed versus just being subdued. Yeah, Pavel did a stream a while ago, and he talks about like environmental storytelling, and that's probably one of the many reasons why I keep getting pulled back into the game. There's just there's so much going on here to tell a story. Like this vehicle, the shards that you pick up from NPCs, enemy or neutral or otherwise. And then just what's going on in here. There's a lot going on. It's purposefully placed. But one of the things that Pavel was kind of talking about, there was like trash or something around, and there's so much. I think there was like a sign that said "Keep our city clean" or something like that. And it would be cool if you could manipulate. Like these objects can be moved, right? Like you can see how they move. They obviously have weight to them. Not everything I know, but a lot of the things do. It would be cool if I could pick all this stuff up, like put it into trash cans. Like there was a little bit more physics-based properties to all these objects, and I would literally clean up Night City. I know that's a little kind of there are points in Cyberpunk 2077 to where I find myself wanting to find ways to make the game, like its legs, last longer, because I keep coming back here because I just want to, you know, like live in this space. So I want to go gamble, and maybe I'm just so used to Grand Theft Auto 5, and now, and again, some of these things weren't even available in Grand Theft Auto 5. It didn't. The way it is now was not how it started either. It launched with some bugs of its own. I mean, it wasn't as why isn't this thing blown up? There's another thing. It's like this is on fire, and I don't necessarily know why the fire is coming from the tire. Maybe it's hot brakes, but there's definitely something that happened while we were shooting at it. I don't know why the fire comes from there, or why the fire doesn't get bigger. But I know that there were more issues with this game than there were when Grand Theft Auto 5 launched, but what Grand Theft Auto is now, compared to what it was, is definitely night and day. And I see CD Projekt Red continuing to improve the real estate to make our investment in the property increase with time. All right, let's do a mission. Call Mr. Hands.
V, what's shaking?
Need to make contact with the Voodoo Boys chief if you can swing it.
All right, all right. Straight to heavy business.
Matthew McConaughey.
Now,
Should have said it one more time.
Be tough getting a word into her.
You really don't do any biz with them?
Not with the chefs, chefins, priests, and whatnot. All got dirigible-sized egos. Won't talk to lowly me. But if you insist, I can ask around, try to set something up. I'll just need some details first.
Got something they want.
Truly? Want to sell something to the VDBs? Trust me, they don't want it, they don't need it. They're isolated, insulated, they got their own contracts, tech, networks. But, have it your way. Okay, I'll see what I can do and get back to you.
Turn off the radio here for just a second. So that radio excerpt, that announcement, is sort of that lead-in to environmental storytelling. It's the Delamain mission. Like, they're announcing things are going on in the city. And it would be interesting to see some a little more frequently around the city, and like just all of a sudden see this Delamain cab come out of nowhere. That isn't part of the main mission. Just it comes out, it happens. And maybe it goes away. But those are the kind of things that are constantly coming at you in the game that they've done well. I just want some of these things that you see, like this train. Like, that is such a beautiful, elevated train line. But if you go down, I can't go down in here.
Hey, watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump out of my car here real quick. If you went down into this space, and if I go down there, I'll get stuck in there. But this goes nowhere.
V, consider this your lucky day. You hear Pacifica calling, you make sweet love to it, that is.
Got something for me?
Well, it's like I said. Whatever you're peddling, the VDBS are just not in the market. But they have another task that needs doing, so I volunteered you. Do it well, and you'll get your audience with Brigitte.
Okay. So who do I talk to and how?
Hit the chapel on Sloan. Look for the altar inside. Someone will touch you, nod to you. Something spooky.
Got it.
That's
Thanks.
in Pacifica. So I'm going to jump down here just to show you one of the things that that are constantly kind of rearing their heads. Everybody's talked about the trolley and the train line and subway. I don't think there's ever been really a subway, but there's definitely been a train, and this is one of the lines here. Now, there's no train that you ever see going around the city. That would be one thing. Like, if I can't get on the train, I get it. There are fast travel points that you can go to the. I think it's in cart. The fast travel points, you can go to the stations, and they are actually fast travel points, but you can't get on the train, you can't ride it. But it would be cool if you just saw a train moving about the city. And this is like one of the areas. I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to have to reset from an autosave to get out of here because I don't have my double jump yet. But you see this train line here. It wouldn't even work if they did have it run throughout the city because there's multiple places in the city to where this just goes to nowhere. Now, I guess maybe that could be a shutter system, but that's the strangest shutter system I've seen. Now, could they fix this? Yeah, absolutely they could. They could jump into the game and manipulate all this stuff, and then we'd get like a 60 gigabyte update and all that other jazz. But I would need a double jump in order to get up here. I don't have that yet. I'm going to have to do a save point reload. Right here. But there's multiple places around where that train line, the rail, just goes into a wall, or the train itself would clip parts of buildings. So it's obviously there for looks, and it might have gotten to the point where they just couldn't get it working the right way. Do I see them bringing it back? I don't think that they would. They could. I don't think they would. At least not for 2077. What do I mean by that? 2077. Let's say if they made a Cyberpunk 2088, whatever the sequel would be for Cyberpunk, I think they should just stay in Night City. Now they do create different. So for the case of Witcher, like they stayed in Kaer Morhen and you got to see Kaer Morhen, evolve. Look at the Yakuza games. The Yakuza games are a really good example. So you have that city. I think it's Yokohama. I don't think it's Tokyo, but the area that you play in as Kiryu, every game you're in that same area. I mean, there are some side areas that you go to and different cities that you kind of visit, but that main area is always the same, and you see it evolve through different generations of game consoles and the different series. It just keeps looking better and better. Now, that would be something I would love them to do with Night City. Maybe they could add some other areas like Night City and then expand on Night City, or travel to another city, because they obviously have all of this. I keep wanting to steal these bikes that I walk past. But yeah, just keep adding on it, and then let's say that some of the buildings that are around Night City that aren't completed, then they could complete that area in a future game. Alright, I know I've been talking way too much. Let's go ahead and get to Brigitte. I'm living in Japan right now, and I keep wanting to get into the right side of the vehicle and drive on the right side of the road, like I would be driving over here in Japan. You'll also notice that I do not have a lot of user interfaces on. I enjoy this game so much more without user interface. The only thing that I have on, and because it's dynamic, is my health bar. So I'll know if I need to heal myself. But I don't have the map, the mini-map on telling me everywhere I need to go, and I'm underneath a mega building right now, aren't I? I think, let's see, based on where I'm at, 4 is over there, so this must be mega building number 5. Pretty sure it is. Nope, it's 3. So mega building 3 is sort of in the southwest corner of the city. Here's a little thing, and I probably need to kind of go into making a video of this, but so I guess almost center of the city. I guess kind of southwest. So if you kind of know where the buildings are at, the building numbers, so you've got mega building number 1 right in here. This is mega building 1. I'll go into 3D. So you got mega building 1, mega building 2, mega building 3, and then out here is mega building 4, mega building 5, 6. This is actually a mega building. It's mega building 7, and you go up into here is 8. 9 is snuggled back in here into like city center. 10 is where V lives. 11 is here, and then 12 is all the way up here, the north end. So if you ever need to orient yourself in the city, just look at where the mega buildings are at, and you'll know where you're at. Obviously, if you're down here, it's primarily to give you bearings while you're in the the megapolis in the main parts, the meaty parts of the game. That's a good way to get yourself oriented. I have been focusing. Hey, Dryden Moss, just popping by. Curious to see the state of Cyberpunk. Let me read that whole thing, because when it pops up, I don't get the entire, it doesn't let me read the whole thing. The state of Cyberpunk at this stage. What is the state of it? It's improving. It's not where it should be, but that is... For me, I'm trying to stay positive. I have been negative. I've posted parody videos. I've been very verbal in, Reddits, saying, like CDPR is not perfect. Even before the game launched, I did not think that CDPR was going to be perfect. And everybody's going to say, CDPR is the... Are we both going the wrong way? This car and the other one? Yeah, but I think if you're playing on a PlayStation 5, I think that's the way to go. I haven't played it on my PlayStation 4 in a while, but it's definitely gotten better. It's gotten better for PlayStation 4 owners. I think it's gotten worse for PlayStation 5 owners, and let me explain that. It runs fine on a PlayStation 5. It runs fairly well, but we're playing a backwards compatible version of the PS4. So I've seen NPCs, and it could just be me, so this is from my perspective. I've seen, it feels like NPC density has decreased because, again, this is backwards compatibility. I think I've seen textures go slightly down, or they don't pop in at as great a distance as they used to. Even though, again, I'm not technical, so don't hold me to this. It just feels like I'm playing a backwards compatibility PlayStation 4 game. And it's not like they flip a switch and say, all right, now that you're playing on PlayStation 5, we're going to increase the density and the draw distance and all that other kind of stuff. It's not necessarily bad, and I think I'm being a little too vague. For me, I think the game hasn't changed outside of the fun that you already had in the original. Stability is there. I haven't had it crash in a long time. Even on the PlayStation 5, I'd have it crash probably every, let's say, 4 hours. Memory management. I haven't seen a lot of... There used to be a lot in the PlayStation 5 and in the PlayStation 4 to where you'd be driving around on the streets, and then suddenly you'd turn a corner and it wouldn't load, or the street wouldn't be there. There are some issues if you walk around, and I'm probably not going to be able to duplicate it. This is sort of like you having a problem with your computer, your plumbing, and then the expert comes over and you can't duplicate it. But I've had certain textures on NPCs not pop in at a specific distance, like baggy pants. It looks like they're wearing, these guys right here. I don't know if I can make it happen. It looks like he's wearing baggy pants right now, right? If I can zoom in a little, look, he looks like he's wearing baggy pants, and then it slowly starts to load it in. There's little tiny things like that all around that sort of are what we see. But a couple of small things, like getting in and out of a car. I don't know the last time that you played it, Paul, but getting in and out of the car, there used to be this weird jump loading. You'd get out of the car and then it would, I don't know, almost look like you were jumping, or it would spawn your character 1 foot up, and then your character would drop down to be level with the ground. They've improved that. Those kinds of small things have been improved. I mean, obviously, you can read the patch notes for what they've patched for bugs and glitches throughout the game, but there are some geometry stuff too. I think it's going to be in Corp. Let's see if it's still there. It's going to be here. I haven't played it. Still holding out on purchase, but see plenty of. It's weird that I don't get to see your entire comment on the PlayStation 5. I haven't played it. Still holding out on a purchase, but still plenty of footage. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I don't think I'm going to tell you much of things that are new, but I've got my own things that I want, and that's a long discussion of things that I would like to see. One of the things that I've been doing on my own, I would like to. This is just a small thing. I have 7 pages worth of stuff that I've put up on Reddit. I've tried to make I made one video for V's apartment, I would like to see these things in V's apartment. And then I was going to expand out from there, but then other games released and I started playing those. Mass Effect trilogy among them. one thing. This is a very small thing, but I would like to see us be able to put our cursor over streets, and then a little pop-up tell us what street our cursor is currently on. Does that make sense? All the streets are, like, which I think is pretty cool, are labeled. Like, I should know what this street is, because there will be a street name posted somewhere. Maybe not as prevalent, like right there. Just saw it. Let's not run into walls. Like, so this street is kind of dark. I think this is Martin Luther King Boulevard. Yeah. This is Martin Luther King Boulevard, and these are everywhere of the city, so I know that I'm currently on Martin Luther King Boulevard. So I've said before that I don't have my UI up, right? So I don't put my UI up a lot. So if I go into here to settings, I know I'm rambling. Not very many people like to hear me ramble. They've said it before. It's like, just play the goddamn game. Interface, mini-maps. So these are the only two things I have. Like, when I use stamina, it shows me. But then the stamina disappears, right? I don't need boss health bars because when it dies, it dies. Ammo counter, most of it's on the actual weapon. And you'll get a little vibration in the controller when you're about to go low on ammo anyway. Hints and action buttons, all this kind of stuff, NPC names, I don't need it. And then health bar, dynamic, stamina, dynamic. It only pops up when it needs to tell you something. So I take all that stuff off. So the mini-map, if I turn this on, so I've got this mini-map at the top right. I get my time, I guess that would be somewhat useful. But I wish it would tell me what road I'm currently driving on. That would be cool. Like, I'm on Martin Luther King Boulevard right now. I wish it would say that in the minimap. Here's another thing they haven't fixed, and this is one of my pet peeves while I'm riding around on a motorcycle or a car. They will stop in the middle of the road or drive extremely slow. Like, I feel like there's a funeral procession going on, or, the national anthem is playing and people are, we should be a full stop if it's a national anthem, but they need to fix this. Like, this guy back here is at a full stop. They have not fixed any of this. Look at these guys, they're all at a full stop. Maybe they're triggering now that my character is close. Yeah, little things like that. Like, it's not game breaking, it's like immersion breaking, but it's not game breaking. Another thing I don't understand, and I'm coming up with a lot just because I see this stuff a lot. I've played the game a lot, so I'm noticing them as I go. Like, these fish that are circling the plaza should be animated as if they're swimming through the ocean, and they do, but they only do when you get close enough. It's like right when you're underneath here. Like, you'd think that they would animate when you're about here because that's where you're going to see them the most, but they don't until you're like underneath them. So now they're animating, but I can't see them. You'll see them when I like pop up under here. See, now they're animating. Why does that task the system? Maybe that's something that I'll get in. Like, I'm sure the PC doesn't have that problem. I guess maybe it's because it's PlayStation 4, and I don't know why that animation is taxing on the system. See, it looks really cool, right? These animated fish swimming around in a circle, those koi, that's pretty cool. But then when I get out of it, they're probably not animated anymore. Like, why is that animation taxing on the system? It makes no sense. Little stuff like that they need to fix. Alright, I rambled on a lot. I'm going to go over to Brigitte, get this mission going. And I'm going to turn off that map. I've learned more about the city. I don't know every road or every left turn or how to get from point A to point B the fastest. But I've definitely learned more about Night City, its layout, by taking off that mini-map. And just, I've got the point in the direction I need to go and what the mission is. But I don't have cookie crumbs. And I might find something, these assaults in progress, and I might stop, and I probably wouldn't have come across as many or found, these environmental storytelling things that are going on as much if I was always following and looking at a map and looking at where I needed to turn. I know that's going to work for some people. Like, they're going to want to have that map, zoom out or zoom in whenever like you're driving really fast. But for me, I don't like following cookie crumbs because I find myself probably looking as I'm driving around the city. I'm missing parts of the city that are happening well. If I'm constantly looking at a map and trying to follow cookie crumbs. So I'll take that off, and it's made Cyberpunk 2077 so much more enjoyable for me, having taken off all the UI stuff that just clutters that you're constantly staring at. And one thing I can't turn off is the speedometer, which is fine. Speedometer for vehicles, that stays there. I mean, obviously it would make more sense if you were like, I would like to play the whole game. This is another pet peeve of mine that I hope they fix, and they give us the ability to control. Like my sitting position, this is probably a pretty good vehicle for being able to sit in the vehicle and still see where you're going. I would like to play the entire game in first person, but it's hard to when you get into a vehicle, especially like the long-nosed Delamain, not the Delamains. It's the most expensive car. I'm trying to think of what it is, and I've forgotten. But any of the cars that have long hoods for the engine will take up half of the screen and you can't see. Like the Mai-Mais and the motorcycles are probably the best visual like clearance that you have while you're driving in first person. I would like to play the whole game like this because you have your speedometer right there. That looks cool. Everything's where it should be. But if you get those cars that have long noses, you can't see worth anything out of the car while you're in first person. So I find myself constantly driving around in the car, at least, in third person. So I hope they give us the ability to change like the sitting height. Maybe the field of view would be nice to have. I would like to see the ability to look directly behind us, or because they have these, like the side view mirrors are really just digital, I wish they'd actually have like a digital rear view so when I back up I can see. I mean, otherwise I'm pretty much in this. Anyway, sorry, you put 2 comments in. Again, I should be replying to them. Here we go. Paul says, one thing that comes to mind for me is the possibility that the vision for the game and its sheer scope, at least that which we were led to expect, such as game choices, the level of interactivity, is beyond the capability of the current technology. I don't know. There's games that have done such branching, like they could have done it. Not to say that the developers can't get close, but I think this may be a case of ambition versus reality. Yes, over ambitious would. I mean, they obviously showed whenever, like one of the first missions when you were working with Stout and you were taking her chip, like the thing they showed in the trailer, like that has multiple outcomes, and you get to see whether or not. This is a spoiler. I don't know if you've played this part, so I'm about to say a spoiler, and I'll start driving after the spoiler is over with, so you know I haven't said anything. But here it goes. Again, I'll start moving the car when I've stopped talking about the spoiler. You can either go with Stout or not go with Stout. And if you don't go with Stout, you can betray her, and the entire encounter for that mission changes. You've probably seen that. But later you'll find Stout, if you betrayed her, like buried underwater later on. And it even with like those kinds of interactions, and the person that she thought was the mole inside Arasaka, that Stout thought that guy was a mole, and she like stuffed him in and out of the car. He then becomes sort of your ally. And if you side with Stout, you'll like see her in like WNS news reels about like her promotion and all that stuff. That kind of stuff has lasting effects. Like you can even have an encounter with Stout if those kinds of things are very rare. Yes, that scope of your choices matter. It's definitely not like Mass Effect did it. Like I don't think it takes technology, because you look at Mass Effect and they did it through 3 different, standalone games that all talked to each other based on your choices. Characters would die, they would either not, or they would show up or not. Like it is possible. That can't be an excuse for CDPR. They had the capability. Yes, I think their overall scope. They just came from Witcher. I mean, look at Witcher. They were able to do it in Witcher. I don't think the capability is not there, like technology-wise. I just think the technology made them made the scope of Cyberpunk and Night City so grand. And there's so much that you think. Like, I wouldn't call Night City a facade. That's kind of putting it in a place like it's not worth its visual splendor, which it's there. I entirely believe, like wholeheartedly, that Night City is a great character in and of itself. I just think there's a mirage of activities that are constantly advertised, that they talk about, like the pachinko, the arcade machines, the brain dances, the clubs that you can go to, the drinks that Claire, like this thing, it gets on my nerves so much. Is you can go to a bar, and you can say, hey, what would you like? And they have all these animations to where the bartenders will serve you the drink, but then you can never see that again unless it's scripted. I would like them just to be able to go up to a bartender, sit down in the chair, and just chill, like live in the space of Night City. But you can't unless it's scripted. Stuff like this. I mean, there's things to do. But yes, I think I'm rambling a little bit too much, but yes, I think the scope that they pushed to Night City to got a little bit too big for them, and there's like, hey, we need to refocus, and I don't know whether or not, I'm trying to get over here to Brigitte. I don't know whether or not getting Keanu Reeves involved took a big chunk of change and like changed their direction, and they had to kind of change the game. But I don't know. I guess short answer, yes, I think it got a little bit too big for them. Is technology preventing them from executing? No, not at all. They proved they could do it with The Witcher, and BioWare proved they could do it with Mass Effect. I don't know. I've said it before. Never played Mass Effect, so I have no reference point. So, like, I'll give you a very base idea of Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1, which was on the Xbox 360. Let's say you had a team of 3, and let's say you wanted to romance one of those characters. They would be in Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. That would follow along. Or let's say that you decided to kill that same person that you romanced in 1, but instead you decided to kill them in Mass Effect 1. That would trickle through every other game, through the main game, through 1, 2, and 3. The choices that you made lingered and really impacted the way the game's story progressed, and the people that you met, and the missions that you went on. Those kinds of things. And you can go get it, like right now, the Mass Effect trilogy was re-released on as a full definitive edition, and it's all in one package. You can go play it, and that's what this could have been. Could it still be? Yeah. Could they overhaul the story? Probably not. Could they make the expansion passes a little more? And I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to let us play within Night. This is a beautiful scene. Night City itself is the winner, I think, overall in Cyberpunk 2077. Almost anywhere you look, it's a picturesque scene. And I'm in a constrained area. It's a beautiful game when it's running on all cylinders, but a couple of things will just pop its ugly head at you every once in a while. But I don't know. For me, love is blind. I love the game. I find ways to make the game entertaining, the side activities. If I just played mission after mission after mission, it'd be like, hey, it's just a good game. It's not great. It's definitely not perfect. It's got some potential. They've got the real estate. So I hope that the expansions, the paid expansions that they make, probably make the stories and the choices that players have a little more dynamic, I guess. So Paul says, so that flattens the limited tech argument. In essence, CDPR really just put all their eggs in one basket and then got crushed under its weight. I don't know. I don't know if they got crushed. Something happened. They released. They've already made announcements, and I'll take that for what it is. Hey, it's not what we expected. They said that they were satisfied with the PC run, but I think they were only satisfied with the way that it run, it was stable, not with the execution of their grand plan. And as you play the game, you can see all the things that that had a lot of potential. Why didn't you execute on that or take it through its full maturity? I don't know. They just kind of cut off. It's we'll finish that later. But then, yeah, I get it. Yes. I don't know if you've ever played any of the Halo games. Halo 3 ODST. This is an example. This is Bungie. Now 343 does all the games, but Microsoft Studio is 343. Before it was Bungie. Bungie was making the Halo 3 ODST, and if you're not familiar with those games, then that might not make sense, but just consider them a company making a game. They wanted to make ODST an expansion to Halo 3. ODST got so, and when I say out of control, not out of their control, but it got so much more big, excuse me, it got bigger and bigger, the story got more elaborate, and they just decided to make it its own game. And it ended up being like one of the better stories in the Halo series. I think, yes, this game got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the scope just got... And again, these are guys coming from Witcher games, right? 3 Witcher games. That's what CDPR made. And now they're trying to jump in the realm of like a completely different IP, a completely different style of play, first-person perspective. They definitely know how to tell a story, so I can't give them... The story's good. It's not great because it doesn't like link all the choices that you could make. And I'm rambling again, so again, I'll try to limit how much I ramble, but I've got a lot to say. Not very many people listen, so I appreciate somebody stopping by. And leave whenever you want to, so I tell that to everybody. It's like, sometimes I'll ramble. If you just peace out, it's okay. I just know that I'm getting to a point where you don't want to listen to my voice anymore. But yeah, I think that they just got a little bit too much, and it's like, hey, let's just finish what we've got. We're getting a little out of control. But I think, like expansions and DLC, I know they're working hard on it right now. I know they are. And because they are the developer, they are the publisher, CDPR, are the developer, publisher, and distributor of Cyberpunk 2077, they're not going to do what EA did to a game like Anthem and just say, you know what, screw it, let's abandon it, and then let's just start making the next Witcher game. I know they've already started making the next Witcher game. They're like in pre-production. We all know that. They haven't announced it, but you know they're working on it. You know, they're pen and papering. They're like, hey, what should be the story? What characters? Who should be the main character? And they've already announced that they're going to be working on 2 AAA games at the same time, Cyberpunk and Witcher. But I know that they're capable. I know CDPR are capable. So I hope that's something that we see. And I'll try to move along here. And I'm getting a little bit too much rambling. I gotta wait for time. I don't know if I've answered any of your questions because I do find myself rambling. I like the game. I like what's here. I don't like that I sometimes have to find activities on my own to have fun, like parkouring, trying to find all the little stories that they put in there based on the environments. I've even gone over and started to make my own map of all the roads, names, and where they're at, so I can just look at a map. Again, that's just like on paper, digitally, not like I don't have any technical savvy. But you know, I would definitely like to have user-created races. I would like to have the pachinko things open. I'd like to have the arcades open. I would like to be able to... I've been making my own like speed runs. I'm trying to like start a fresh game and then go find all the graffiti tarot cards. I don't know if you've seen those to where they're like tarot cards that are graffiti around the city. I'll just try to go find them all real quickly. I know there need to be challenges. There need to be things like, hey, this mission, start, but you can only use a pistol. Or this mission, you know, kill enemies, you know, call it whatever you want. Multi-kills, like you've killed 2 people. Like, yeah, see, I don't know if you saw that happen. I don't know, I've got a long list. If it's something that you're interested in, I guess I could make a quick video of it and I just talk, but it would be a lot of me talking. Or I could just make a video. Oh, I just noticed this. There's a brain dance to where when you're trying to find information, Evelyn Parker, this is actually a place where she was like, this was a brain dance area right here. It's cool that you can, in some of the brain dance sequences, you'll come across the area that the brain dance actually took place, and this is one of them right here. All right.
Like a pep noir.
Bagay vin chanje. Fason la vi nou, pat ap jam men bagay la.
Men nou si viv. Et nous pas mettre confiance encore sous bagay vini sorti nan.
You are V? We have been waiting.
You my contact? Someone finally gonna tell me about this job?
I'm just the man in the middle. You will learn more. Soon.
Wanna talk with Brigitte? She here somewhere?
No. Shopping center by the intersection. Go to the butcher shop there. Ask for Placide. He will tell you the details.
Nagini. Et nous pas le point.
You lost, honey?
Piss off, slacker! Another fucking weasel.
I'm not afraid of anyone, you know?
Hey, what's up? Do I know you?
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Paul. I appreciate you just giving me something to talk about. Apologize if I rambled too much. Later.
Who are you?
I'm V. Wish I could have a one of these little buddies. Be cool if I could have my own little UAV in the game. Alright, so we're going... Oh, that's right, we're going to the mall, huh? Yeah, stuff like that, like when people stop by and just ask basic questions, I really appreciate that. I like talking through the things that I'm seeing. It's not for everybody to sort of sit there and listen to me ramble. They just want to see the gameplay. But again, I'm sort of occupying this space, and I'm having a good time occupying the space, and that is not going to work for everybody, so I know that that is not what everybody wants to see. But like when people stop by and start asking questions, like I've had a lot of time in the game, and it hasn't all been great, but it hasn't all been bad either. And I want to be able to sort of occupy the space and see what it becomes over time, because I know CDPR have the capability of doing so. I would just like to have some more activities. One thing I've been doing is talking.
Hey, friend. You good?
Talking to the random NPCs and seeing exactly how long it takes before they repeat themselves.
Watch your own self!
Like even the way that he talks, he's got this deep voice, it really fits. But it doesn't always. Like sometimes I'll talk to a female and she'll have a male voice. But in the realm of Cyberpunk 2077, that makes sense. Because you can come in and like be a female body and have a male voice,
You'll
or have
swallow a fly.
Oh, there's another thing I just figured out is if you look at NPCs long enough without pressing the talk button, they will say something anyway. So if, let's say you walk up to this lady right here.
What? You want a new friend?
Like that right there, and if you do the same thing, I'm not going to push the talk button. It'll just trigger on its own.
I know, because Lizzie Wizzy has one just like it. I saw it on TV. But Mr. Puggins...
Get out of town before it's too late!
Smushy, and his eyeballs look like they're gonna pop out. Ew. That's not what dogs look like, right? Maybe he's a cat. Nope. I saw a cat once. Totally different. Maybe it's an extinct animal. Probably a dinosaur. All extinct animals are dinosaurs.
So the kids can hold guns, but I can't shoot kids. I mean, I haven't seen any kids shooting other NPCs, but they've got protection. Or they could be toy guns. I mean, they could have just picked up a plastic gun. See, that's the problem, is that I know when I was growing up, I did have toy guns, and they didn't have the orange tips on the barrels. So yeah, that's totally normal for kids to be playing with guns, especially in this city. I definitely played with like little toy revolvers when I was a kid. Toy magnums, toy Berettas. I used to play with those things as a kid. And again, like I said before, they had the orange tips on them to show officers, don't shoot kids. But yeah, that's totally not out of the realm of reality. Again, environmental storytelling. What it means, I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely tells me that I'm in an area of the Haitian community. So another thing I've been doing is, and I normally I'll have this on over here. Let's see. Let's turn sound. I want to have the overhead text on. What I've been doing is walking around Night City and just listening to some of the side conversations that NPCs do have. They don't all have a conversation. It'd be nice if they did, but it's like these kids were having a conversation about Lizzie Wizzy. Like, that is environmental storytelling. Like, that has story. I would like to, at some point I would like to go through, don't look at the barrel. Load, point, finger safe. Always treat the weapon as if it were loaded. Don't point the gun at anything that you don't intend to shoot.
What are you doing? You freak?
I'm telling you safety for that pistol. I don't know if it's real, but I'm not going to assume that it isn't real. So again, treat it always as if it's loaded. Don't point at anything you don't intend to shoot. Keep your finger away from the trigger until you intend to shoot.
And I don't always talk to strangers.
I know you don't, but, and again, the last one is keep it safe. Alright? Always keep it on safe until you intend to shoot, okay? Those are your rules. And never look down the barrel. Strange story. I have a real life story to where I was cleaning an office building of a friend of mine that I used to build plantation shutters. I used to do that when I was, early teens. But as a side gig, I'd clean an office building for the main owner of the shutter making company. And while I was cleaning it, he had a shotgun in there. And I looked down the barrel of the shotgun, looked at the stock, looked at the triggers, looked at all sorts of things on the weapon. I was really curious and stupid. And I ended up pointing the gun down, and the weight of the gun pulled my finger into the trigger, and the gun went off. It was a fully loaded shotgun. And remember what I said before? I looked down the barrel. I held the gun and looked straight down the barrel because I had heard of rifling, right? And I could have killed myself. So I should have told the kid that story. Of course, he didn't talk to strangers. I almost shot myself in the face with a double-barrel shotgun because I didn't check to see if the gun was loaded. That's what. There. So bam. Yeah, like I couldn't be here if that thing would have gone off in my face. But instead, it went off into the carpeting of the office that I was cleaning, and I ended up staying there for hours cleaning up all the dust and patching it. I called the guy and said, "Hey, I shot a hole in your floor." And he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he proceeded to, now that I was alive, to call me a dumbass. But load, point, finger safe. Basic gun safety rules that I use to this day. I think up to that point, when I had seen this shotgun, I had only hunted with a bow and arrow. I think I hunted deer with my father a couple of times, but never used any type of firearm. No rifles, no pistols, no shotguns in my life up to that point. Here's another thing as I'm walking through Night City. Yes, he doesn't have a guitar. That's a glitch. I get that. But whenever they have guitars in their hands, I would like to give them a tip.
Hey, how's it going?
Your air guitar is spot on, bro. But the finger placement we all know is pretty legit. You know, when he has a guitar in his hand, glitch. I get it. Bug, get it. I would like to give these guys a tip. Come on, if they had a tip jar, and then leave some money in their tip jar. And then maybe if I've tipped every guitar player in the city, or if I've tipped them enough, they all communicate to each other, and they come jam with me. That's another thing. I wish there were concerts in this game. I want to attend a Lizzie Wizzy concert. It's kind of talked about in the trailers for the games. Why can't I use these things? Anyway, off I go. I ramble a lot. I enjoy the game. I really do. Just wish there were more activities, things to do and live in Night City. So for me, this environmental storytelling right here, intentional or not, is this child's friend or parent or loved one was gunned down by one of these automated turrets. Security turret. Now he's angry at the turret. You've done a good job. I think it's out of commission.
Sorti tant qu'on l'y toujours fait. Li pas fait aucun sens pour se li konya. Just done.
Moi pas connais. Il te semblait très déterminé.
Oh, li pas changer l'idée. Tant coup tout le temps.
C'est pas tant ça.
Oh, ou voulez pour moi parler avec lui, pas vrai? Ok, pas gain chance.
Eh bien.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to buy anything from your store if you're spitting everywhere.
You actually sell meat out of here? Really?
Ou actuellement voulait acheter quelque?
Qui ça l'a fait là?
La PC est bien intelligent, il semblait.
Looking for Placide.
Placide. Regardez ici là.
Dodo ti petite maman. Dodo ti petite maman.
Regardez dans la caméra.
Si ou pas dodo, câble va manger. Si ou pas dodo, câble va manger. Maman ou
ici,
pas
regardez.
là, aller dans marché. Papa ou pas là, aller à rivière. Si ou pas dodo, crabe la va manger.
Regardez dans la caméra.
Alright, so go around the back.
Ici, regardez. C'est vous-même. Continuez. Placide, regardez là.
Alright. I've had a couple of times to where that shimmer of vision happens whenever the relic is kind of affecting V. I found that there was a bug before where it would be persistent and it would stay with you long after it should have stopped. And I found that if I just stop for a moment, stand in place, it seems to go away easier. And I don't know, that's a weird thing to have in the video game, a bug that makes it persistent if you don't move. But again, I actually feel like if I don't move when that happens, I've never had it linger. Maybe they fixed the bug, so that would be good. I've had it happen once before where it did come back and last like 20, 30 minutes until I like loaded into another thing where the game had to load, or I died and I had to reload and maybe it went away. But anyway, it's funny that if you have that shimmer because of the relic, then like, oh great, ooh, I'm a headless horseman. See, there's things the game has been fixed, but there's still things that. Now I know that primarily CDPR was working on just making the game run so they can get it back on the PlayStation Store. I know they're probably now working on all the other things that the game needs to have fixed now, so when the DLC and the next big patches come, they can work on things like the shadow, work on the water physics, all that good stuff. That's a weird bug. You see down at the bottom right? I'm like painting white. Look at that. That's weird. Paint. Like there's supposed to be steam, I guess. It's not quite triggering. Look at that. A weird bug. Anyway.
You proceed? Want to talk to your boss.
I like Placide over here cutting up a chicken.
Here I thought selling domesticated fowl was still illegal. 6 years poultry supposedly had the plague. Now all of a...
Alright, I'm gonna see how long I've been streaming here. Alright, I'm right at about an hour, so we'll get done talking to Placide here.
Sudden poof, it's clean.
And then we'll call that a good stream.
What you want?
I want to talk to Brigitte.
But they send you to me.
And you'll tell me more about the job.
Yes, but not here. Follow me.
Yep, I know you guys are next. That's something that I hope that in the next gen update, like look at the blade. The blade textures are pretty good. Good textures there, but here the texture on that is just poor. Hopefully that's something they fix in the next gen update. It's a weird like bug. I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be fog on the ground, but I'm getting to do all the painting. Weird, you guys see that, right? Weird. Alright. Okay. Alright, I think that'll be it for this stream. I'll pick up where I left off, continue the discussion. I appreciate, Paul, you coming by and talking. And if you haven't already, do me a favor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you like the discussions, if you like Cyberpunk 2077. If you dislike, you have every right to have your word be heard. CDPR is listening. They know they've got things to do to make Cyberpunk what it should be. So please, if you got any comments, got any suggestions on games you'd like to see streamed, put it down in the comments section below. If I have it in my library, I'll stream it. If I don't and it's cheap, I'll buy it. And also, do me a favor and let me know if there's things that I could do better. Because again, I make these streams for two people. The people that watch them and myself when I want to watch them. So if there's things you'd like to see, let me know. I am a talker though. I do like to talk and ramble as I play my games. So, and I will read every comment that comes through, and if I have to stand still and answer them and talk to them, then it'll just be a discussion piece as we're playing the game. So, alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Alright, bye.